Have you ever paused to ponder why certain things are permissible and others not in Islam? It's a question that opens up a fascinating world of understanding. We're about to dive into that world, exploring the concepts of halal and haram, their origins, and their importance in Islam. The Arabic terms halal and haram are often heard, but what do they truly mean? Halal, originating from the Quran, means permissible or lawful, while haram refers to the forbidden or prohibited. These concepts are integral to a Muslim's way of life, guiding decisions and actions in various aspects. Now here's an interesting principle. In Islam, everything is considered halal unless specifically prohibited as haram. It's a bit like a green light that's always on unless a red light pops up. This principle is rooted in a hadith where Prophet Muhammad said, "What Allah has made lawful in his book is halal, and what he has forbidden is haram." The Quran and hadiths provide clear guidelines on what is haram. For instance, consuming pork or alcohol is categorically deemed haram. But remember, it's not all about food and drink. The concept of halal and haram extends to behavior, finance, clothing, and more. So why is understanding halal and haram important? Well, it's not just about following rules. It's about cultivating a mindset of consciousness and responsibility. It's about understanding that our actions have a spiritual significance. When a Muslim chooses halal over haram, it's an act of obedience, a demonstration of love and respect for the divine commandments. Moreover, it's about fostering a sense of community. When everyone adheres to the same principles, it creates a shared understanding, a collective identity. It's about being part of a larger whole, a global ummah. So, the next time you come across the terms halal and haram, remember, it's more than just do's and don'ts. It's about a way of life, a pathway to spiritual growth, and a journey towards a harmonious community. Understanding halal and haram is not just about rules, but about cultivating a mindset of consciousness and responsibility. Ever wondered why Muslims can't enjoy a bacon sandwich or a glass of wine? Well, it's all about the dietary laws of Islam, which categorize foods as either halal, permissible, or haram, forbidden. So let's break it down. In Islam, all food is considered halal unless it's specifically prohibited by the Quran, the holy book of Islam. The most well-known haram foods are pork and alcohol. But why exactly are they considered haram? Pork is prohibited in Islam due to health reasons and spiritual symbolism. Pigs are known to consume all types of food, including dirt and their own waste, which can lead to the presence of harmful bacteria and parasites. From a spiritual perspective, pigs are seen as symbols of greed and gluttony, traits that are discouraged in Islam. Alcohol, on the other hand, is prohibited because of its intoxicating effect. It impairs judgment, promotes irresponsible behavior, and can lead to addiction, all of which are considered harmful in the Islamic faith. Now let's talk about halal slaughter, a crucial aspect of halal food. This method of slaughter requires the animal to be healthy at the time of death, and it should be killed with a sharp knife to minimize pain. The blood must be completely drained from the animal's body as it's considered impure. And importantly, the name of God must be invoked at the time of the slaughter, expressing gratitude for God's sustenance. But it's not just about what is consumed. It's also about how it's consumed. Islam encourages mindful eating, moderate portions, and sharing food with others. It's about respect for the animals, the environment, and our own bodies. So the next time you see a halal tag on your food, you'll know it's not just about dietary restrictions, but a whole ethos of ethical consumption. Did you know that not all forms of earning and spending money are considered permissible in Islam? In the world of Islamic finance, the principles of halal, or what's permissible, and haram, or what's forbidden, play a significant role. It's all about ensuring that the way we earn and use our money aligns with ethical and socially responsible practices. Now, picture this. You're in a marketplace, surrounded by various stalls. Some sell goods, others offer services, and a few even promise a quick return on your investment. But how do you decide where to spend or invest your hard-earned money? In Islamic finance, this decision is guided by the principles of halal and haram. Take, for instance, the prohibition of riba, or usury. In traditional finance, charging or paying interest is the norm. But in Islam, this practice is considered haram, as it promotes inequality and exploitation. Instead, Islamic finance favors profit and loss sharing arrangements, where risks and rewards are shared equitably among all parties involved. On one hand, you have halal investments. These are investments in businesses that comply with Islamic principles. They avoid sectors like alcohol, pork, gambling, and others deemed haram. They also shun businesses involved in interest-based activities. On the other hand, you have haram investments. These are investments in businesses that violate Islamic principles. If a business profits from activities deemed unethical or harmful to society, investing in it would be considered haram. But it's not just about what you invest in, it's also about how you invest. Islamic finance encourages transparency, mutual consent, and fairness in all financial dealings. It's about creating a financial system that benefits everyone, not just the wealthy few. In essence, Islamic finance is not just a set of rules or guidelines. It's a way of life that seeks to promote a just and equitable society. It's about making financial decisions that are not only profitable, but also ethical and socially responsible. Thus, Islamic finance isn't just about making money, it's about making a difference. What makes a behavior halal or haram in Islam? That's the question we're exploring in this segment. In Islam, it's not just about what you eat or how you manage your finances, it's also about how you behave. The guiding principles that determine whether a behavior is halal or haram are deeply rooted in the values of the faith. Let's start with honesty. Honesty is highly valued in Islam. It's considered halal. This means that telling the truth, even when it's difficult, is not just permissible but encouraged. Honesty is seen as a virtue that strengthens relationships and builds trust. It's an act of respect towards others and towards oneself. Now let's look at kindness. Kindness is another behavior that's considered halal. It's about showing empathy, understanding, and compassion to others, irrespective of their status or background. Kindness is seen as a reflection of one's faith and commitment to the teachings of Islam. But what about haram behaviors? Well, lying is a classic example. Lying in all its forms is considered haram. It's seen as a betrayal of trust and a violation of the Islamic principles of truth and honesty. Another haram behavior is causing harm, whether physical, emotional, or psychological. This includes things like bullying, abusing, or exploiting others. These actions are strictly forbidden in Islam, as they go against the fundamental values of respect, compassion, and justice. So you see, the concept of halal and haram extends beyond just rules. It's about a way of life that promotes positivity, respect, and fairness. It's about making choices that reflect the core values of Islam. But remember, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. The key is to learn from them and strive to do better. In Islam, the journey towards a halal life is a continuous process of learning, growing, and improving. It's about nurturing a spirit of kindness, honesty, and respect. And that's what makes being a Muslim a truly enriching experience. So, living a halal life is not just about following rules, it's about nurturing a spirit of kindness, honesty, and respect. So how do these concepts of halal and haram impact the life of a Muslim? Well, the understanding and practice of halal and haram deeply shape a Muslim's life, influencing everything from their daily meals to their financial decisions and their interactions with others. Let's start with diet. A Muslim's dietary choices are not merely about what tastes good. Instead, they are guided by the principles of halal and haram, ensuring that what they consume is not only permissible, but also ethically sourced and processed. This mindful approach to food not only nourishes the body, but also feeds the soul. When it comes to finance, these principles encourage Muslims to make ethical and responsible decisions. Whether it's avoiding interest-based transactions or investing in halal businesses, the practice of halal and haram ensures that a Muslim's financial activities are not just profitable, but also contribute positively to society. In terms of behavior, halal and haram serve as a moral compass. From speaking truthfully to treating others with kindness to fulfilling promises, these principles guide Muslims in their interactions, promoting a lifestyle of integrity and respect. But here's the thing. The principles of halal and haram are not just about restrictions. They are not about what you can't do. Instead, they are about guiding you towards what you should do. They are about living a life that's not just about personal gain, but also about contributing positively to the world around you. Following the path of halal and haram is about making mindful choices. It's about recognizing the impact of your actions on others and on the world. It's about choosing to live in a way that's not just good for you, but also good for the community and the environment. In the end, understanding halal and haram is about understanding the essence of Islam, a journey towards a life of consciousness, responsibility, and ethical living. So as we navigate our lives, we can look to these principles as a guide, helping us to make choices that are not just beneficial, but also deeply meaningful.